1:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Romesh Piris and read by Niranjan Abesundara. The Prime Minister directs theatres under the Tower Hall Theatre Foundation be given out for stage dramas to encourage performing arts industry. Sri Lanka receives over 1.5 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine from the COVAX facility. COVID restrictions further relaxed for approving indoor concerts and other activities. Intensified COVID vaccine program continues island-wide. Leader of the opposition says SJB will unconditionally protect free education. High Commissioner of Pakistan says his country will continue to foster friendly ties with Sri Lanka. International news, US and Russia vow to cooperate on climate change. Sports news, cricket. Kusal Perera is said to be ruled out of Sri Lanka series against India. The Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has instructed that theatres under the Tower Hall Theatre Foundation be given out for stage dramas for a small sum of money from 31st of August in order to encourage the promotion of the performing arts industry that has been affected due to the coronavirus pandemic. The Premier issued directives as the chairman of the Tower Hall Theatre Foundation when the 29th Board of Trustees meeting of the foundation was held at Temple Trees yesterday. Accordingly, Tower Hall Theatre, Elephants Theatre and Rukmani Devi Theatre will be awarded to playwrights at a contingent rate from 31st of next month. A stock of 1.5 million doses of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine arrived in Sri Lanka today. The vaccines are being donated by the United States of America under the COVAX facility of the World Health Organization. The consignment, which arrived at the Banalik International Airport in Katalaka, was handed over to the Health Minister, Paitavani Arachi, by the U.S. Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Elena Teplitz. State Minister of Primary Health Care, Epidemics and COVID Disease Control, Dr. Sudarshini Fernandez-Pulle, and Minister of Tourism, Prasanna Ranatunga, were present on the occasion. According to the epidemic unit of the Ministry of Health, 1,084 new COVID-19 cases were reported as of yesterday. Accordingly, a total of 20,543 COVID-19 cases have been reported and 22,979 infected patients are receiving treatment in hospitals in the country. 253,953 patients have fully recovered and been discharged from hospitals. Meanwhile, according to the epidemic unit report so far, a total of 4,878,543 people have received the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine and 1,580,740 have received the second dose. Epidemic unit of the Ministry of Health said 70,121 individuals were vaccinated against COVID-19 yesterday. Furthermore, 19 new cases, the highly contagious Delta variant of COVID-19, first identified in India, have been detected from several areas in the country. Deputy Director General of Health Services, Dr. Hemant Herath, stated that the Delta variant has been detected from community samples obtained within the past couple of days. Accordingly, Dr. Herath said a total of 38 COVID-19 cases of the Delta variant have been identified in the country thus far. Leader of the opposition, Sandeep Premadasa, said the Samagi Janabalavegya is prepared to become a strong force in the struggle against the defeat of Sir John Kotalaba Defence University Bill that has been tabled in Parliament. MP Premadasa, speaking during his discussion with several factions, including university secretaries, pertaining to the impact of the bill on free education, said the SJB will unconditionally protect free education. He noted as a political force together with academics and students, the SJB will overcome the current challenge. Pakistan's High Commissioner, retired Major General Mohammad Saad Khattak, addressing a press briefing, stated that his country would be steadfast in its friendly relations with Sri Lanka, its ups and downs in all facets of life. Following Pakistan Premier Imran Khan's visit to the country recently, the two countries have opened new areas of cooperation to promote bilateral relations to new heights and continue to help each other for the progress of the two nations. During the press briefing, the High Commissioner announced that a high-level delegation from the Rawalpindi Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Pakistan is with Sri Lanka in 2 weeks' time for discussions with the captains of Sri Lankan commerce industry aimed at boosting bilateral economic ties. Leader of the House, Minister Dinesh Gulabardana, said at a meeting of the committee held at the Parliament premises, the proposals and ideas have been submitted by 10 recognised political parties to the Parliamentary Select Committee appointed for the purpose of reforming election laws, electoral system. He added the deadline for recognised political parties to submit their proposals expired on the 15th of July. Secretary of the Commerce Committee, Chief of Staff and Deputy Secretary General of Parliament, Kushani Rohanadira, stated that the committee had received 138 suggestions and comments so far. The Colombo High Court has ordered the complaint filed against the captain of the demised Express Pearl ship and 4 other suspects in connection with the fire on board the ship to be called on 6th of August. The complaint was taken up before the Colombo High Court Judge Damit Thotamata. The Solicitor General Madhava Tennakoon, who appeared for the Attorney General, informed the court that the further investigations are being conducted into the incident. Accordingly, the High Court judge directed the Criminal Investigation Department to report on the progress of the investigation on the 6th of August. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Army continued to vaccinate general public over 30 years of age in the Western Province at the Viharama Devi Open Air Theatre from the second day this morning. The venue will function at the new Community Vaccination Centre to administer the Sinopharm vaccine between 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. daily. Proof of permanent residence in the Western Province by way of producing national ID card with a telephone or an electricity bill, a copy electoral list, a presidential proof from the Gramadari is required to receive the vaccine at the Community Vaccination Centre. Sri Lanka Railway says 15 trains scheduled to operate this morning were cancelled. General Manager of Railway Dhammika Jayasundara said the trains were cancelled due to a risk of the coronavirus spreading at the Dhammika railway station. General Manager, however, said a discussion will be held with the relevant authorities today and steps will be taken to resume train operations as scheduled. Jayasundara expressed his regret over the inconvenience caused to commuters, adding necessary steps will be taken with railway employees to resume operations. Well, that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The coronavirus restrictions have been further relaxed from today, permitting indoor musical shows and concerts to be held and wildlife parks to reopen. Director General of Health Services Dr. Asela Gunawardana said restrictions have been further relaxed after reviewing the current coronavirus situation in Sri Lanka. Accordingly, indoor musical shows have been permitted under 50% customer capacity or based on the seating arrangement of the area. Events must be held in strict adherence to the health guidelines issued by the Health Ministry. However, outdoor musical shows and carnivals remain prohibited until further notice. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On to Watchlight. Excise Department says proposed security sticker to be pasted on all locally manufactured liquor bottles, which had been delayed owing to technical reasons, will be commenced from the 15th of August. The much talked about topic of applying security stickers on all locally manufactured hard liquor, beer and wine bottles as security measure to prevent adulterated booze from entering the market has been delayed due to recent government COVID-19 health guidelines. That came to you in Watchlight. On to world news. The US and Russia vow to cooperate on climate change. WHO experts warn strong likelihood of more virulent COVID variants. UN chief urges world to observe an Olympic truce. The United States and Russia have vowed to cooperate in the fight against climate change. U.S. Special Presidential Envoy to Climate George Kerry held a telephone conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday while visiting Moscow. He also had talks with the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov 2 days earlier. Russia's presidential office says Putin and Kerry agree that climate change is one of the areas where Russia and the U.S. have common interests and similar approaches. Emergency Committee of the World Health Organization has warned about the strong likelihood of the emergence of more virulent and dangerous variants of coronavirus that may become more challenging to control. After 8 emergency committee meeting on Wednesday regarding the coronavirus disease, WHO experts released a statement saying the pandemic remains a challenge globally. U.S. Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called on all parties to cease hostilities for the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympic Games. Guterres made the appeal in a video message released today, 7 days before the opening of the Tokyo Games. The appeal is based on a UN resolution that urges member states to observe the Olympic truce from the 7th day before the opening and the 7th day following the closing of each of the games. And back to the headlines of the world news. US and Russia vow to cooperate on climate change. WHO experts warn strong likelihood of more virulent COVID variants. UN chief urges world to observe an Olympic truce. That was world news.
Development News is brought to you by Quality Matters Than Price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
The second phase of the Colombo Stock Exchange digitalization process was launched recently at the Presidential Secretariat on the patronage of the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka, along with the Colombo Stock Exchange, commenced the digital advancement in Sri Lanka's capital market with the launch of the first phase digitalization of the stock market in last September. It is intended to ensure an uninterrupted access, facilitate investor participation, and enhance operational efficiencies and service standards in the capital market. With digitalization, investors will be able to make transactions in Sinhala, Tamil or English from anywhere in the world, receive monthly publications, exchange and modify information, as well as to open accounts for local companies. That is Development News.
Development News was brought to you by Quality Matters Than Price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
Sports news as cricket. Sri Lanka cricket said two key players in Sri Lanka cricket team, namely wicket-keeper batsman Kusal Janith Pereira and fast bowler Bruno Fernandes, will be ruled out of India series due to injuries. In a statement, it said Kusal Janith Pereira will not be able to take part in the ODI and the T20 series against India owing to an injury. Wicket-keeper batsman suffered right shoulder sprain during training. Meanwhile, fast bowler Bruno Fernandes sprained his left ankle during a practice session held yesterday. That was sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
The U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol welcomes Sri Lankan textile manufacturer TJ Lanka and its wholly owned subsidiary TJ India as new members. TJ is the first textile manufacturer in Sri Lanka to join the Trust Protocol and membership, which allowed the company to prove the cotton fiber element its sourcing mix is more sustainably grown with lower environmental and social risk. U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol is a farm-level science-based program that sets a new standards for more sustainably grown cotton. That was Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Sri Lanka's manufacturing and service activities have begun to recover from a third wave of coronavirus, according to a Purchasing Managers Index compiled by the Central Bank. Manufacturing PMI recovered to 50.4 in June from 42.1 in May, where a new lockdown started. Manufacturing PMI recorded for the month in June 2021 is an increase of 8.3 index points from the previous month, mainly driven by strong recovery seen in new orders. That is economic news.
I bought my daughter a laptop up for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Met Department forecasts several spells of showers to occur in the Sabaragamu and Western provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Matara districts. Met Department cautions showers on the Shah to occur at several places in the U and Eastern provinces and the Mullaitivu and Maunga district during the evening or night. Fairly heavy showers about 7 millimeters expected at some places in these areas. That was the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Back to the headlines of the news. The Prime Minister directs theatres and the Tower Hall Theatre Foundation to be given out for stage dramas to encourage the performing arts industry. Sri Lanka receives over 1.5 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine from the COVAX facility. COVID restrictions further relax, approving indoor concerts and other activities. Intensified COVID vaccination program continues island-wide. Leader of the opposition says SJB will unconditionally protect free education. High Commissioner of Pakistan says his country will continue to foster friendly ties with Sri Lanka. In world news, the US and Russia vow to cooperate on climate change. Sports news: cricket. Kusal Pereira is set to be ruled out of Sri Lanka's series against India. That is the news.